In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what documents you need in order to successfully apply to your school of choice. Coming right up after this. What is happening, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Richard, and on this channel we provide you with tips, tricks, strategies to enhance your international student experience. I also sometimes share my experiences living in the US for a while. So if this is content that you like, consider hitting on the subscribe button and clicking on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. Also follow us on our Twitter handle at globe_engaged to stay up to date with previews and sneak peeks into our upcoming videos. Hello again and welcome back. If you are new here, you are welcome to the beautiful people family. Hopefully you find some content on this channel that will be relevant to anything that it is that you are doing. For my returning subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for sticking with us. 2020 was difficult, but hey, we got through it, and hopefully 2021, irrespective of what happens, is going to be the year where we are continuing to dream bigger to the point where our dreams scare us. Enough of all of that. Let's focus on today's topic in today's video. So in today's video, I just wanted to talk about some documents that you need in order to apply to any school of your choice. Remember, in my previous videos, I kind of talked about what you need to be doing, how to start with your school search and all of that. If you have not already seen that video, I'm going to leave a link in the video description. But today's video, we are going to take it a step further. We are actually going to talk about some documents that you need once you start your application process. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is that a lot of people are not too sure what kind of documents they need. And yes, I agree that documents may vary from school to school and country to country. However, as far as general application is concerned, you are going to need the basic materials. So stick around and I'm going to break down what those materials or documents you need to do. And I'm also going to throw in a few extra tips there that is going to make securing these documents or even writing the documents that you need a little bit more helpful. I'm also going to leave a link to a very informative video that talks about one of the documents that I'm going to be mentioning. So stick around, grab a coffee or drink, and let's get right into the video. Here are the basic documents you need when applying to schools. Now, the reason I say they are basic is because these documents will cut across any schools and any programs. Even though some schools or programs may have other specific program related requirements. So you are going to need your online application form, which is going to be on the website. You're also going to need copies of your official transcripts of any institutions that you've already attended. You're going to need also your resume or CV, depending on what language or terminology you use. And then you are going to need a statement of purpose. You are also going to need between 2 to 3 references depending on the school. And then you are going to need your GRE or GMAT or your standardized test scores. If you think I'm forgetting anything or if there's anything that I did not mention, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. But basically, these are the things you are going to need. Let's break all of this down and talk about it in a little bit. The first thing I'm going to talk about in this list is the statement of purpose. Now, this is one of the most important documents that will influence either negatively or positively how your application goes. Now, there's a general rule of thumb when it comes to writing the statement of purpose. And this document basically is where you get to tell a story about who you are as an individual, what you bring to the table or what you bring into the program. This is where you get to tell the school about you, your research interests, your educational background, your professional background, and all of that. Now, like I said, statement of purpose has a general rule of thumb, but some schools may require you to address specific details. So again, before you start writing your statement of purpose, check with your program. Look at the program requirements, and some of these information will help you fill in the gaps you need to fill in when you start writing your statement of purpose. A friend of mine did an in-depth video on how important the statement of purpose is, and also gave some tips to look out for when writing a statement of purpose. I'm going to leave the link in the description below, but you can also click on this card above to check it out. Trust me, if you are struggling with writing statement of purpose, that video is going to change your experience in a very, very good way. So take some time and check it out. But yes, you are going to need your statement of purpose, and your statement of purpose has to be very strong in order for the admissions committee to use the information there to consider giving you admission, but most importantly, also consider giving you funding. That is the first thing I wanted to talk about in this video. Statement of purpose. The second set of documents you are going to need are your official transcripts. When you start filling out the application process, you'll be required to upload a scanned copy of your transcripts. Now, those are called unofficial transcripts because they are not coming directly from your school. Your official transcripts are the hard copies of the transcripts that will come sealed in a school branded envelope and signed across or stamped across the back. Anything that makes it look like it is coming straight from the school and it has not been tampered with. In some cases, you will be asked to submit the official copies of your transcripts after you've been given conditional admission, which means that they can still use the transcripts that you've uploaded into your application, but the ultimate goal, or to get certain other documents like your I-20 and all of that, is going to depend on how soon you are able to submit your transcript. Now, you know the school that you attended, right? And you know the procedure that works there. So I'm going to specifically talk about some things you can do to make sure that your transcript is in the shape or form that it is supposed to be before you submit them to the school you are applying to. But yes, you are going to need your official transcript, if possible, sealed in a school envelope and signed or stamped across the back of the envelope. The third document I'm going to talk about are your recommendation letters. Now, a lot of people think recommendation letters are not as important as the other documents when it comes to applying to schools, but the recommendation letters are equally as important. In an ideal situation, your recommendation letter is somehow going to speak to who you are, or it's going to add a little bit more flesh to what you've already spoken about in your statement of purpose. When getting your recommendation letters, it is advisable to get recommendation letters from professors or lecturers who know you very well. I'm not talking about professors or lecturers whose classes you attend like solar eclipse, right? We all have those professors where we are like, oh, this class is not interesting, so we are not going to attend. I'm talking about professors who know you, who know that you participate, who know how strong your academic background is. Also, another thing to also consider when picking or asking professors for recommendation letters is that you are going to consider a lecturer who will be able to make time to write a very, very good and strong recommendation letter for you. Now, the reason is some professors or lecturers have a generic recommendation letter that they give to every student. Now, that is not personalized or tailored to speak about you. So make sure that you are reaching out to professors who you know will be able to write very good and strong recommendations that talks not only about your strengths but also your weaknesses and areas that you need support. Now, this is important because if the university needs to dedicate resources or allocate resources to ensure that international students are getting the needed support, you are not left out. The third document you are going to need as part of your application process is the CV. I know you are going to ask, why do I need a CV if I'm applying to a school? Well, remember, even though you are going to be a student, you will also be working on campus, and you could be working as a teaching assistant or a research assistant or in any capacity as a graduate assistant. So if you don't know the difference between a resume and a CV, the resume is the same document that you present when you are looking for a job, and the CV basically highlights your academics more. So on your resume, you are not going to have your research title, you are not going to have all of your applications and stuff like that, unless of course you are applying to a job in academia. Then it makes sense to actually submit a CV. I know that is confusing, but the concept is not as confusing as you think it is. So yes, you are going to need to submit your CV, because when you are applying to the school, they are going to ask you a little bit about your employment history and all of that. And so the CV just basically gives them that visual representation of, a timeline. Some schools may also want to see if you've had a gap year, what it is that you've done professionally to sort of make up for that gap year. So let's say you finished your bachelor's degree 3 years ago and you are trying to get into a master's program this year. That is a gap year from school. So schools would want to see what it is you've done, whether professionally or academically, to sort of fill that gap, right? And it also gives the school an idea of where you can fit in as far as employment is concerned. So if you don't know how to write a CV, leave that in the comment section below. We are going to make a video to cater for that. I'm telling you, 2021, we are bringing some amazing content. So yes, you are going to need your CV as well as part of your application process. I know I've given you a lot of information so far, but if you have experience applying to a school anywhere, share with us in the comment section below what documents your school required you to submit. Again, this is not for me, but this is for the other viewers who may learn something from your experience. Now, the next thing, which is also very important, are your standardized test scores. So if you are like me or some other people that I know, when it comes to applying to grad school, GRE is always up there. And GRE is actually the reason a lot of people don't even want to try to apply to schools, because the first thing is like, I can't write GRE. Well, in as much as it is not required by most schools, especially also because of this whole COVID situation, having a GRE score or having a good score in GRE and submitting them as part of your application puts you ahead of the pack. Now, when the school has a limited number of slots and a limited number of funding, and they have equally good candidates, they still need something to separate the sheep from the goats, right? And sometimes that something is the GRE. They may not necessarily admit based on GRE, but when it comes to funding, GRE is a very, very important aspect. Also, depending on the program that you are going to read. So for instance, if you are going into a STEM, which is science, technology, engineering or mathematics field, GRE or GMAT is always going to be up there. So that is something that you definitely would want to consider as well. So if you have not made any provisions to write GRE, and if your school does not require it, that's fine. But if you plan on going to some of the schools up there, or if you plan on putting yourself in a position where you are getting a lot of funding or a lot of schools just pulling you left and right, your best bet is to write GRE. And once you do that, don't forget to add that to your application process. The last thing I wanted to talk about is your application fee. Usually when you are filling the application online, you can save, come back, continue, take your time. But once you get to the end of the application and you hit submit, your application is not going to be received by the school until you pay the application fee. So if you are in your home country and you don't have any means of paying the fees online, make provisions. Talk to somebody who you know will be willing to pay for you, and then you pay them the money. This is very important because I've missed out on an admission just because I did not get somebody to pay the fees for me on time. So that is something you would want to factor into your application process and timeline and everything. Also, when you're applying, make sure that you have a timeline. You are looking at the deadlines and you are working in terms of meeting the deadline. Sometimes we try to drag our feet for so long, and then by the time we are done with our application, we miss the deadline based on time difference or our inability to pay the application fee on time. I hope this video was very informative. If you found something useful in this video, share with us in the comment section below what that is. If there's any document that I failed to mention, share that in the comment section below based on your experience applying to a school, so that other people will learn from it as well. And if there's any video that you want me to make, or if there's any topic that you want me to cater for, also share with us in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to bring that video to your doorstep. I'll also be leaving a few links to some videos, like I said, that my friend has made that is also equally as useful as what I'm sharing with you, or anybody who wants to travel abroad to study. I'm going to leave those videos in the description below so that you take some time to check that video out. So thank you all for watching. 2021 is still young, and so whatever has happened in 2020, it's gone. We are going to start the year afresh. If you are not dreaming, start dreaming. If you are not planning anything that you want to achieve this year, start planning, and hopefully you get the means and the avenues to be able to do that. Thank you all so much for watching this video. As always, we appreciate your support, and if you are new here and you are not yet subscribed to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button and clicking on the notification bell so that anytime a new video drops, you will be notified. Also follow us on Twitter at globe_engaged to stay up to date with previews and sneak peeks of our upcoming videos. Stay safe out there, and may 2021 bring us all the things that 2020 failed to bring us. Until I see you on the next video, stay safe and be each other's keeper. Peace!